At some point, someone decided that the survival genre needed a witch. No starvation mechanics, no dying of thirst, just magic, familiars you can name and pet, a broomstick, and a corruption threatening the land. Honestly, solid lineup. Now the question is whether the game lives up to the hype. Let's find out. Hi gamers, I'm your host Stormy, and welcome to The Day Show. I review life sims, cozy games, adventure games, and city builders. And today we're looking at Witchspire, launching on PC on June 10th, 2026 at a retail price point of $22.99, and I was lucky enough to play this game early thanks to the devs so I can give you all of this information. At its core, Witchspire is an open world survival game. A survival game without what they call the grind tax. No hunger meter, no thirst meter, no slowly watching a little cup icon drain while you're trying to actually play the game. Instead, resources and recipes empower you and restore your abilities. So you're still incentivized to gather and craft, it just doesn't feel like you're one missed meal away from your character lying down dramatically in a field. The premise is that you've been chosen, classic chosen one stuff, to face a corruption spreading across the land. You're uncovering a ruined civilization and its guardians. The story is actually pretty interesting, I'll give it that. Before you can even touch the world though, you're making your character. And this is actually one of the better character creators I've seen in a while. You're picking your body type, skin color, face, eye color, hair color, and style, and voice. The color range feels genuinely inclusive, like the people making this thought about more than one type of person when they were building it, which should be the standard, and yet here we are still clapping when it happens. Then you pick your class. There are 6 options and each give you a different starter weapon, and this is actually a meaningful choice that shapes how your early game feels, not just cosmetic, which I appreciate. And then arguably the most important decision you will ever make in your life, you pick your starter familiar. You get 3 options, and they all fight in different styles, so again, this isn't just which one is cuter, although that is a valid criticism, no judgment there if that's how you pick things. It is a solid onboarding into the game's identity, and by the time you load in, you do feel like your character is yours. There are over 30 bondable creatures in the world. They fight alongside you, level up with you, and can be assigned to workstations to help you farm, craft, and very importantly, you can name them and pet them. Now, how do you actually get them? When you defeat a bondable creature, their spirit might linger, and that is your window to collect them. You can use incense and luminaries to boost your chances, so there's a little bit of RNG involved, which I know some people love and some people will despise. The rarity system has 4 tiers: common, rare, epic, and legendary. And on top of that, there are type variants: your base variant, shifties, which are color swaps, and then celestial, which are ultra rare. So the collector brain is fully activated here. Different familiars also help you fight in different ways. They each have their own skills that you can upgrade and level as they go, and a branching skill tree for the familiars specifically. It's actually really well done. Building in Witchspire is genuinely enjoyable, and I think a lot of that comes down to one thing. When you enter build mode, you levitate. You just float up, astral project yourself above the whole thing and see it from above. You can reach the roof, place stuff that you couldn't reach from the ground. It sounds small, but if you've ever fought a camera angle in a survival game trying to place a wall in the exact right spot, you understand why this is a gift. Everything snaps together cleanly, there are multiple build sets and design styles to choose from, and there are decorative trinkets to add personality to your space. You can conjure hearths, which will act as your home base, and you can have multiple hearths to fast travel between them via the map, which is a nice touch for later in the game when you're really spread out across the world. Building is one of the areas in this game that really shines. If that's your main draw, you're gonna have a good time. Movement in this game has a lot of personality. Instead of a double jump, you can do a spirit jump, and then there's the broom. Flying in Witchspire feels genuinely fluid and fun. Once you unlock it, you're going to be flying everywhere. It's fast, it's free-feeling, and it makes Traverse feel actually exciting rather than being a long commute. The catch is that flying has to be unlocked per zone. Each area has a flight pillar, and to activate it, you follow magical streaks to collect flight orbs and power it up. The number of orbs varies by area. It's a little mini task before you get your wings in each region. Honestly, fine. It gives you a reason to explore early in a new area. The world itself is large, And I want to be transparent here. It does feel a little empty right now. The developers have acknowledged this and said that the plan is to continue filling it out as it is early access. Their philosophy was that it gives players a lot of space to explore rather than a small, cramped up world and then populate it over time. I respect that philosophy. I'm just telling you that way if you go in and you notice it feels a bit sparse in places, that is early access reality. And speaking of which, performance was fine on my end on a solid PC. No significant lag here. I did have to use the unstick feature a couple of times, but that's pretty standard for early access and it never fully derailed anything. The game markets itself as a survival without the grind tax. And in terms of basic needs, yeah, that's true. But that doesn't mean that there's no grind. There is a grind and it lives in the leveling system. Here's a scenario that happens to you really early. You get a quest, the quest has a recommended level. That recommended level is a level 10, and I was only a level 5. There was no quest to bridge that gap, just me, the world, and the implication that I should go touch some grass metaphorically until I leveled up enough to proceed. And here's the thing, when Witchspire says recommended level, it means it. It is not a suggestion, it is a warning. I tested this and I did not survive. So if you're someone who finds level-gated progression satisfying, great. This will feel like a natural progression. If you find it tedious, that feeling will visit you. The resources at least are plentiful. It's not hard to find what you need as far as materials. The grinding is specific to leveling, which does give the game a bit of a pacing issue in the early to mid stretch. Two other things that live in the same conversation: when you die, everything in your backpack drops, which combined with a tough level-gated encounter you probably shouldn't have walked into, it's not great. The good news is difficulty settings can be adjusted to change, so check your world settings before you start if that's something that sounds like your own personal nightmare. And inventory. Inventory stacks up to 99, which sounds generous until you have 11 stacks of 99 stones and your inventory looks like a geological survey report. There's no real, fix for this, it's just something you'll manage. Combat is functional. I want to be fair here because some of this might genuinely be a personal preference thing. The different familiars adding variety to how you fight is great. The skill tree for both you and your familiars means you're building towards something. That part works. Where I personally hit a wall was the quick bar. I was playing on a PC on controller, maybe that was part of my problem, but healing while fighting requires me to flip through my quick bar in an awkward way to get to a healing item, use it, and then flip back to my weapon, and in the heat of combat that felt a little frantic to me. Again, this might be a me issue. Some people find that kind of active inventory management engaging. I found it a little bit chaotic. Your mileage may vary. Again, this might just be a me problem. Co-op is a big selling point for this game. Co-op is up to 6 players, though 4 is recommended for most PCs. The lobby is hosted by 1 player, so if your host logs off, that's your session. Solo, the game does feel a little quiet. The world's emptiness I mentioned earlier is more noticeable when it's just you. But with a friend, I could genuinely see this becoming a great co-op building adventure game, the kind where you accidentally lose 3 hours decorating a base. The difficulty and XP sharing adjusts based on how many people are in the lobby, which is a thoughtful touch. Now the thrilling conclusion: should you buy Witchspire? Witchspire is a good game that is currently an unfinished game because it is in early access. The core loop is genuinely fun, the familiars are a highlight, building is satisfying, the story is intriguing, and flying around on a broom is exactly as enjoyable as you're hoping it will be. But it is early, the world needs more life in it, the leveling curve has some awkward gaps, the combat inventory management isn't perfectly smooth, but these are all things that can and likely will be addressed over time. This game really gave me a Palia vibe. If Palia had witches, way more combat, and a corruption storyline instead of just vibes and farming. If you liked Palia and if you like Pal World, there's a solid chance that you'll find something to love here. If you're comfortable buying into something that will improve over time, and you like the creature collecting, building, magic combo, this is definitely worth picking up. If you need a fully complete, polished experience right now, maybe wishlist it and come back. Either way, I will be here levitating above my base, trying to name my familiars and making questionable life choices in the skill tree as one does. If you're planning to pick up Witchspire at launch, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you think I was too harsh, I would love to hear that in the comments too. If this helped you figure out whether it's worth your time, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I do this so that you don't have to impulse buy another game without enough information. If you want to stick around, I've got another review popping up on the screen in just a moment. Thank you all, as always, for the endless support, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!